Good morning. Today's Monday the 13th of November 2023 and I'm just going to go over my trading plan for today. No major news today apart from 2 o'clock we've got something monthly budget which may see market moves, but I expect I should be out by then. In fact I will be out by then because it's my son's birthday, so I'll be out for a meal or doing whatever he wants to do on his birthday. So on my screen is the MES or the ES chart, 1 hour time frame. I want to start with the daily just so we know where we are. On Friday we saw this big green candle and it took out this area from before the consolidation. Still relatively low volume, and we saw an increase in volume the prior day on that red candle, and it was a smaller red candle. And note the lower volume on the big wider green candle, which does show there is potentially some weakness in the daily. A slight anomaly, if you go to the SPY, you can see again we've had lower volume than average. The big red day was a bigger volume, and then on Friday's candle it was just a wider candle as well, was slightly higher volume. But what I really want to look at is the weekly. So interesting to see that we've got this big wide range candle on slightly above average volume, and then we had this small wide range candle on below average candle, so you've got an anomaly there, which could show potential weakness, but we won't know. It could just might be a rest week as well. We could be going sideways for a bit before we continue to move up, so just something to be wary of as well. So let's go back to MES. Level wise, I've got a few levels on today. Can't really find a real good rejection area apart from if we get into this trend line. That's the hourly trend line. So let's move back up. Sorry, that's a trend line on the daily, but we're looking at the hourly right now. So last time we came up to these areas we saw a big rejection, so I'm expecting another big rejection back down. But right now we are poised to break clear of this area, and this is an area of supply which we're currently sitting in right now. So I want to watch for the break and retest of Friday's high, which is 44.35.50. I'll consider 44.28, 44.30 area as well, and I'll be looking for a break and retest of that area. So I want to see if the market rallies on the open, I want to see it come back up, pull back down to confirm that area, and I'll be looking for an entry. Target will be this area here, 44.65. If we can get that high, you know, there may be areas of resistance prior to that, which I'm sure there was. Yeah, we've got this area here, but it's all low volume. So if we can break over this area, there's a big void. There's hardly any volume in that area until we get up to volume starts coming in around that area there. So a massive area of low volume. Zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, still low volume even when we zoom out and volume kicks in. It doesn't really kick in until we get up here. So we've got quite a big area of not much volume. This entire zone we can watch for. And so if we do break through, we could see a relatively easy push up. But we've got to break through, and don't forget on the daily, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row without a pullback. Friday was a bit of a pullback, and it engulfed this area, and then Thursday, and then Friday came along and engulfed the engulfed. So who knows? It's a difficult market to read, and I'm just going to play by what I see on the day and not judge it on what's happening based on, you know, the daily. I'm going to ignore the daily for now. I'm going to stick with the trend. As they say, the trend is your friend. We had a slight pullback and now we're still in an uptrend, and this is the area I'm waiting for it to break out over. So yes, Friday's high, so that's why I quite like a break and retest, and it looks like a bit of a 3-bar play as well setting up. Potential target, yeah, I still quite like 44.65 as a target. but on the daily you've got to target this area here. 4500 as a psychological number, 4550, 4575. That's coming back to the trend line. Look at that, that's going back to all-time highs trend line. So we've got to be looking up here if the trend is going to continue. But anyway, we'll play those numbers when we get closer to them. Going back to today, levels for today. Let's go back to my notes. I do keep a you see here, I do my pre-market game plan and a scenario as well. I take a screenshot of the market is at the time as well. I like to refer back to the market before we kick off, just so that I can see what it was like beforehand, to see if there's anything I can watch out for. So I'm looking for a break and retest of this area, which is 44.28, 44.30 area. If we do push up that far, a potential rejection off of this downward trend line, and that will be around the 44.65 area. And for bounce, I quite like a bounce from Thursday's highs. Let's zoom in a bit. Again, that goes with the uptrend as well. So if we see a bit of a pullback into this area here, you can see what was the ceiling, came back down in the pre-market today, was the floor. I'm looking for a double bottom around that area. So a double bottom at 44.08 area, 44.08, 44.09, 44.10, all that area. And if you look at the level 2 on Bookmap, you can see 44.08, 44.09, 44.10, even 44.5 areas where there's lots of buyers sitting there. So potentially they've got a similar idea to what I've got, looking for a bounce. So that's the area I quite like, 44.05 area roughly. Sorry, 44.09, 44.08 is where there is. So going back to the level 2 again, how I will get my entry would be if we pull back down into the 44.08, 10 area, I may get a single position at 44.10, and I want to add at 44.08, but it'll be just before, excuse me, just before these areas. I'll zoom back out again so you can see the numbers. So it'll be 44.09. I'll probably want to get in on the start, so I want to get in before we get to that area. Give me 2 seconds. I've been suffering from this cough, which has lasted over a month now, and I don't want to cough on camera, hence why I just went over and paused it for a second. So I apologise for that. So that's the area. I like to get in before these areas, or if I see it bounce, I use that as confirmation, and if there's no follow through. But I'll be watching level 2 for my entries as well, and I use footprint charts as well, and that gives me live bid and ask, aggressive buying and selling, so I can see whether when we get down to those areas, if we don't see any more sellers, then I'll be looking to get. That's how I fine tune my entry. So that's it really. So just confirm, I'm looking for bounce 44.09 area, and then we've got another bounce area at 43.85, 43.90 area, and that's the area of confluence as well. Bottoms, there's tops of candles there, and it became the floor here, and it was tops for a while and it broke through, so potentially we can come back and retest that area. If we see a major trend day today, if we do see a trend day, whether it's a red or green trend day, then this is the key area. So if we can break down here, break down and retest, I'll be looking for a pullback into that area for a short. If we break up and above, we talked about this, I'll be looking for the long. So this is the key area I'm watching, between 44.14 to 44.30 area. And I'm going to try and keep it simple. I won't be around later on, so I want to try and find an early move today if I can. And if I don't find any moves, then I won't trade. We've got one higher probability bounce area as well, 43.57, 43.60 area, and that's also coming into where this upward trending 200 moving average is. So if that comes into that area, that would be a potential area of resistance. Support, I meant we've got this bottom from Friday as well, so we could see it come back down and do that. Okay, so that's the levels really today. I'll just sum up again. We've got break and retest of 44.30 area. We've got the bounce at 44.09 area. a higher probability bounce at 43.85 area, and an even higher probability bounce down at 43.50, 43.57 area. This entire area of supply and demand, and that's where we've got the 200 moving average as well. Okay, so looking at SPY. So we'll go back to, there's a weekly anomaly on SPY, as we can see. This is a weekly chart. This candle's a narrow range bar, and we've got less volume than the previous wide range bar. So something to keep an eye on. Going into the hourly. Similar to MES or ES. Break and retest of 441, and a bounce at 438.50, I think. Similar levels to what we had on Friday. So I'm looking for a bounce here and a break and retest long here. So these are the long plays. You could consider a high risk rejection at 441.09 if we come up for a double top. It won't be with the trend though, so that'll be a scalp play. And a higher probability, 434 area, 433 area is a higher probability bounce as well. And then again, we're going to be looking at this area. If we can break out or above this area, well, we've already broken above it, which is why I quite like this, like the long move. This is the area we was watching on all of last week. We've broken above, that's why I quite like it coming back down to create the next step up. But if we break down, we've got to get down through this area, 434, and maybe consider a break and retest short. But then we should be seeing hopefully a change of trend on the daily by that point as well. But be wary of the 200 moving average, which is upward trending, so that could be an area to watch for. And we'll cover these levels as and when we get down to them, probably tomorrow or the next day if we see a sell-off. If we go long, potential target area. Just look for an area of confluence. It's got to be this next 443 area. That's a potential target. And area of confluence will be 444. And what I'm looking for is tops and bottoms of candles where they intersect the most. There we go. I didn't even see that area. So you can see here we've got tops of candles, tops of candles. Volume's not quite as high in that area, but it's relative. Bottoms of candles here. We can take that entire area really. Yeah, this breakout and rejection can hold bottoms of candles, tops of candles, and we haven't got back up there yet. So that's a good area. 444 to 445 as a rejection, or even a target if we're long. Qs. We're currently in an area of supply, a bit like where we are for everything. So where we are right now is potential area of confluence, and you can see that with bottoms and tops of candles. If we can break down through 336, 337, break and retest of that area. So this is the area to watch for. We've tried to break through it once, a break and retest short. Target would be that area really, and that will be our possible long play. 374.60 area for a bounce, and then 372, 373 area for we can change that now because things have changed over the last few days. I'll get rid of that. I like this area for a bounce, which is the first day's high. And then where does that bring us there? So I'm looking at this area as well. 373 area for a bounce as well, and that's will be close to the 50 moving average as well. And I'm looking at areas of confidence again, tops of these candles, bottoms of these candles, and that, oh sorry, that's 371 area as well as a bounce. There's a few bounce areas, but I'm looking at the top of this candle, tops of these candles as well. So that's why I quite like 373. So there's a few areas there. But again, you've got to go with the trend as it is, and we're still looking like we want to trend up. For how long, I don't know. And then NASDAQ, or the NQs. Just zoom out a bit. So I quite like a bounce at 15,433 to 15,400 area. This area here, based on tops of candles. This is an area of confluence. Tops of candles, bottom of candles, bottoms and tops, and that top there. So that's a higher probability bounce area, and I quite like that. So 15,433. I'm gonna get rid of that. We may get down there, but it's not as. This is the area to watch, and we're coming into the upward trailing 50 moving average as well. So a bounce at this area, that's what I like the most. And then a rejection, high risk rejection's got to be. Let's just re-evaluate these levels. There, 15,840 for rejection. And this level here, nothing's really changed. The same area, 15,600 as a potential target if you go long or rejection area. So I don't trade NQs that much, but something I do keep an eye on, because I do like to see if the NQs are pushing up, then MES or ES might be pushing up as well. So they kind of trade and sync with each other. Yeah, that's the bounce area. Maybe we could go a little bit higher. It's a zone anyway, it's not a line. So this entire area, so if we were to watch for a bounce on NQs, it's got to be that entire area, which is equivalent to taking out that area there and that area there. So you've got to look for confirmation as well. Oil, how's that doing? I'm not really focused on that. Look at that, we're curving around at the bottom on the hourly. Putting in a higher highs and higher lows. I quite like this a bit better. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So wherever this is going to leave us off. Probably same as what we discussed on Friday. The break of 78. Got to get over this pivot, which we tried to but didn't hold too long. If we can come back down, maybe retest this level, and that will confirm the upward trend in the hourly. Target area for rejection is here. Or around about 81, just clone that and put that in there. That area there for potential rejection. 80, 89, 80, 87, that's the number that rings a bell. We used that a few times, haven't we? And then yeah, we're below this area of demand as well, which is now a supply area. So we've got to bear that in mind if we do want to go long. Let's change that to red so it knows what we're doing. Let's fine tune it a bit. It's probably a daily level. Okay, oh look at that, I just fine tuned it based on those pivots there. And look where we came into, exactly those highs. So this looks like an area where we're bouncing from as well. So if we can break and retest this area, we could be looking for potential long on oil. And let's fine tune our level. What was that level based on? That area there, I quite like. Bottoms of candles, bottoms of candles. So 78.25 to watch for a break and this entire area really. So that could act as potential resistance if we're long, so just bear that in mind. But we got the 200, which last time we came up to the 200, we touched it and we had this big rejection. So if history likes to repeat, which I believe it does in the stock market, then we may see a similar reaction again. Just looking back, we got close to it there, and we saw this big, well, last time we got close to it, we broke through it, big reaction, we came up to it, big reaction back down. So I quite like a break and retest this area, or a rejection underneath this area of resistance, $80.90. Let's look at gold quickly, and then I'll go back and just see if anything's changed in the pre-market for the ES levels as we open in 10 minutes. Gold is looking pretty bearish right now. If you recall me, I was looking to go long from here, and I missed this entry, but I was kind of using this entire zone. I want to see it break out of this area, but it never happened. And then it came back down. Look how good these levels are. So this level's been in it for a long time. And again, it's area of confluence. Touched it there, came through, came back up, retested it, and broke down. Had I been on the ball, I could have taken the retest as a short. But I think my bias was long on this because we were still in an uptrend. We've been in an uptrend for some time. Even when we're going sideways, we're still in a, technically we're not in a downtrend until we've broken those pivots. And when we did, I missed it over those 2 days. But that's fine, not a big problem. There's always another trade. So where can we go with gold? We're right at an area of demand right now. This area, and we can see, we know that because it's tried to break through, but it does look like it wants to break down through this area. If you look at it on the daily, it's probably a 3-bar play, or potentially putting in a. Could wait for a possible GBI on the daily. We'll come back a little tiny bit, but it's looking bearish. So where would I want to? Yeah, it's too. It would be, if we go short now, we'd be chasing it. So we'd be looking for a potential long off of this area here. That's a tough one. It's got to be around that area there. So just keep an eye on that as well. We're right at the bounce area really. Yeah, I don't like too much on this at the moment. I think we want to get back up into this area here and then wait for the breakout for the next step up. We've got a couple of layers we're watching. I'll keep an eye on it, and we're below the. I don't want to go long while we're below the 200, and we're not quite close below the 50 yet. But if we do, then all long swings are off the table. So let's keep an eye on that. If we can pull back up to this area, maybe there's a short on. It's back up to 1956 area for a rejection of this big area. You can see that the massive amount of volume in that area as well. All this area's got a lot of volume, which is, if we do come back up, it could act as potential resistance. So we'll keep an eye on that. So lastly, just go back over MES, and nothing's really changed over the last 10 minutes. So we've put in a new low. So that's kind of changed my outlook slightly. We're putting in a lower low, lower highs for that type of movement. I still quite like the bounce there, but we're getting closer, so there's more higher risk. Closer we get to the open, which is 7 minutes away. And we definitely got to get above that area to confirm the break and retest, but we're looking weaker now. We couldn't put in a new high, we couldn't put a new double top in. It's a lower high, so potentially one to watch as well. I don't want to rush into anything today. If there's no trades on, then I'm going to not take it. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I'll just leave this so you can just see the levels I've got set up. So I've cleaned the chart up a little bit as well. So higher probability bounce down at this level, 43.60. Higher probability bounce at 43.85. With confirmation, I won't say higher probability now, bounce at 44.09. But again, level 2, I know it's pre-market. Lots of buyers down these areas, so that's why I quite like the bounce as well. 4400, 4405, 4408 and 4410. Higher, so I would say with confirmation bounce, so it's I would say higher risk because we're getting close to that area now on the open, and then a higher probability break and retest long at the Friday's high 44.28 to 44.35, or higher risk rejection because it goes against the current trend. And there's the levels, and obviously if we do go long, we've got a target area of the up downward sloping trend line, which is 44.65, which is also a rejection area, and on the daily that looks a bit like that. So we've got these 2 points connected and we're coming into that area. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Trade safe, and I will be back here tomorrow live at 9 AM. Okay, thanks for watching.